Hello and welcome to our virtual presentation on the office as a focal point of the mediatization of work. My name is Caroline Roth-Ebner and I'm presenting today together with my colleague Larissa Herrnhofer. In this talk, we will explore how computerization has transformed the world of work over the past decades. Media and communication studies describe the interplay between work and evolving media technologies as the mediatization of work. This shift affects not only work processes, but also the design and use of workspaces. In this regard, we view the office as a focal point of the mediatization of work. Over the next 15 minutes, we will present theoretical remarks on the mediatization of work, the constructive power of discourses, and our methodological approach. Based on this, we will explain our empirical study on discourses regarding the mediatization of the office, in which we analyzed press discourses on its transformation. We will present the research design, highlight key results, and conclude with a brief discussion. Let us start with an explanation of the term mediatization. In media and communication studies, it describes the interrelation between societal and media technological change. For example, the spread of the internet has contributed to global networking and business, and the global COVID-19 pandemic has accelerated the use of video conferencing tools. These two examples already relate to the second term, the mediatization of work, which concerns the relationship between work and media technological change. Understanding space as a social construction is considered a relevant approach to analyzing social and cultural transformations. Therefore, we'll examine the office as a spatial representation of communication processes and as a focal point of the mediatization of work. As already stated, in our funded research project, we analyzed press discourses on the mediatization of the office. Following Rainer Keller, we understand discourses as both an expression of and a constitutive prerequisite for the social. Hence, what is written reflects our social fabric and, in turn, influences how we perceive the world and how we act. In this regard, media and press discourses have the power to drive societal developments. As social scientists, our aim is to examine discourses, uncovering their constructions, inherent power relations, communicative processes, and calls to action. Notably, this has not yet been done in relation to the mediatization of the office, which is why we identified it as a research gap. Against the background of our research focus, the sociology of knowledge approach to discourse, in short SCAT, seemed a reasonable methodological choice, as it assumes that knowledge is socially constructed and institutionalized, with tangible social consequences. This knowledge consists of nothing more than ideas about the world we live in. SCAT examines the discursive construction of reality and its social effects. It helps analyze social knowledge relations and knowledge policies, revealing how knowledge is stabilized or transformed within and across areas of social practice.
As part of our research at the University of Klagenfurt, we were interested in the question of how the transformation of the office is portrayed and negotiated in the media, starting with the early computerization in offices from the 1980s to today. This project, founded by the Austrian Science Forum, provides insights into the evolving role of media and technology in shaping perception of the office over time. Our research focus includes German language newspaper and magazine articles from January 1980 to June 2024, that addressed the office or workplace in relation to technological change. The sample is made up of the leading German news magazine Der Spiegel, a German weekly magazine for CEOs and IT managers called Computerwoche, and the high-quality daily newspaper Neue Zürcher Zeitung from Switzerland. A total of 319 newspaper and magazine articles were analyzed, of which 165 were analyzed in detail, while 225 were analyzed roughly. The data analysis followed the open coding process based on grounded theory as proposed by Rainer Keller in his publication on the SCAD method. Our approach included the process of paraphrasing, context analysis, detail interpretation, and summarization. In the following section, we will now take a closer look at the initial results of our study. The results of our study show that the initial discourses regarding computer and network technologies were very positive, viewing the new information and communication technologies as enablers of the modern working world. However, not only positive discourses can be found in German language newspapers and magazines over the decades. Critical discussions about the integration of information and communication technologies in the workplace have also repeatedly emerged. When presenting our findings, we have opted to introduce ICT as an enabler of digital work first, as this perspective dominates the reporting compared to the critical considerations. To provide a better understanding of our results and the context, we have decided to include a highly representative quote from the examined articles for each aspect. For the purpose of this presentation, the quotes have been translated into English. One of the positive effects that comes up again and again in the discourse when it involves ICT as an enabler is the physical detachment of the workplace. The quote from the Swiss daily newspaper is an example of how this aspect is displayed in the press at an early stage of computerization in 1995, rather as a vision than as a reality. It emphasizes the advantages that the integration of new ICT into the working environment brings for employees, specifically the ability to separate work from a fixed location. The detachment of work and the free choice of workplace is transforming the office into a hub for creative exchange and social interaction. These insights leads to our second realization regarding ICT as an enabler of digital work. Throughout the discourse, there is frequent discussion about an increase in the subject's work performance. Along with the establishment of the Internet, the argument is usually that employees can not only better coordinate their work and private lives, but they also have to commute less. Furthermore, individual productivity can increase because employees experience fewer distractions and therefore greater focus within their own four walls, as can be seen in the quote from the Swiss newspaper of 2012 on the slide. However, it should be noted that there is also a critical discourse on this topic, which also spans the entire study period and primarily agrees that high work performance is associated with a decline in well-being. We will return to this later. The aspects discussed above can have a positive impact on work-life balance. The coronavirus crisis in particular has made many people appreciate the greater flexibility in organizing their work and private lives. They can arrange their working hours more flexibly, concentrate on their task, and have the freedom to care for their children or relatives in need of support at the same time. Companies have also recognized the benefits of working from home and of an improved work-life balance. The German magazine Computerwoche highlights this in its article, "High-tech companies struggle to find the ideal solution for the new world of work," from 2021, referring to the statement of a company boss who said that they attach great importance to offering employees the opportunity to experience a better quality of life, both privately and professionally, to strengthen their resilience and to achieve a better work-life balance. To summarize, it can be said that ICT, with all its possibilities, has enabled new ways of working. By breaking up fixed work structures, not only is space being redesigned, but new forms of work are also being found. ICT enables flexible work arrangements, allowing individuals to work remotely for clients worldwide without a need for extensive travel, or contributing to an improved work-life balance. In the following, my colleague Caroline Roth-Ebner will discuss the critical discourses context with ICT in the workplace.
The first critical aspect is the issue of unemployment resulting from the introduction of ICT. Over the whole period of investigation, the replacement of human labor by technology has been highlighted as a significant threat. This quote from a Swiss newspaper serves as an example of how the issue was addressed at a very early stage, specifically in relation to visions of teleworking in the 1980s. It says, if the new technology becomes established, many employees will become unemployed. Yet one has to state that there is also a counter-discourse on that issue that equally spans the whole period of investigation, which mainly refers to the establishment of new jobs in the course of technological change. Another discourse that emerged from the data is a critique of and concern about increasing surveillance in the digital workplace. This issue has gained importance over the past decade, a period characterized by the growing relevance of mobile work, home office arrangements, and virtual teams. As traditional co-presence control mechanisms have become insufficient, the debate around workplace monitoring has intensified. The title of an article in the Swiss newspaper illustrates this clearly, and the corresponding subtitle highlights the sensitivity of the issue by referencing hidden monitoring practices. Moreover, as in many cases, the COVID-19 pandemic played a significant role in our data, as it accelerated many aspects of the digitalized workplace at that time. The third critical issue that occurred in the data is the critique of the always-on working mentality, which is triggered by the ubiquitous use of digital media anywhere, anytime, that is enabled by the internet. The Swiss daily newspaper picked up on this in its article titled "Switching to Standby Doesn't Work" in 2008 by referring to the Californian futurologist Paul Sappho, who said that the sometime anywhere office was quickly becoming the anytime anywhere office, with a branch office during the holidays. Increased stress is often mentioned with regard to remote work and people who have childcare obligations. And here, women are mentioned as affected more often than men. The aforementioned aspects can, of course, have detrimental effects on the worker's well-being. Early discourses emphasize ergonomic challenges. These include health issues caused by screen work and the need for appropriate workplace adjustments. However, with the establishment of the internet, the negative effects of an always-on working culture have become more prominent. Press articles argue that stress symptoms and related diseases have increased, often resulting in burnout or depression. One example is an article titled "Modern Death Means Overload" from 2021 in the magazine Spiegel Manager magazine, where authors cite a union board member. To sum up, the negative aspects in the press discourses on the mediatization of the office primarily concern the replacement of human labor by computer technology, increased surveillance in the digital workplace, the ubiquity of digitalized work and its negative impacts on the workers' well-being. Altogether, our data sheds an ambivalent light on the mediatization of the office, yet it emphasizes opportunities more than risks. ICTs are presented as enablers of flexible work arrangements. This is linked to productivity gains and efficiency, aligning with the neoliberal discourse of self-responsibility. Regarding workers' well-being, both positive and critical aspects are addressed in a fairly balanced way. The positive side focuses on balancing private and professional life, while the critical side emphasizes the ubiquity of work and related stress symptoms. The discourse of machines replacing human labor spans the whole period of investigation, whereas the issue of surveillance gained in importance during the past decade and the increasing relevance of mobile working. The ambivalent discourses align with results from studies on people's working reality, illustrating the aforementioned interconnectedness of press discourses and reality. So that's it for today. If you're interested in following the further progress of our project, you can find regular updates on our website. Simply scan the QR code or visit the link to stay informed. Thank you for your attention. Bye-bye.